broke a world record, folks.
Your plan.
1 million cases.
Right, you're in. Classic. Hold on a second. Demonstrating
Watch
for
Jill
America.
try to
1
take it
million.
on. It's hard. I don't.
A benchmark, a remarkable benchmark.
Your plan that you've outlined just now about a
Good job.
million union jobs, clean energy jobs, investments in HBCUs, those are things that take time. We have a problem with long-term unemployment that's growing fast right now. What would you do right away, specifically, to address jobs that may not return for months, may not return ever, including in communities of color?
What I would do, I would pass the HEROES Act. It has all the money and capacity to take care of each of those things now. Now, not tomorrow, now. And the idea the president is still playing golf and not doing anything about it is beyond my comprehension. You'd at least think he'd want to go off on a positive note. But what is he doing? And there's virtually no discussion. And the Republicans were told, I don't know if it's true, you may know, Senator, but there's 22 Republicans say they won't vote for anything. Well, there ought to be at least a dozen of them have the courage to stand up and save lives and jobs now. We should be doing it now, keeping those businesses open, providing the PPE, the protective equipment, as well as the PPP, the money that we allow people to get funding to keep their businesses open. Everything
spitting,
from
dude.
separation to
we need that
testing to a whole
PPP, the
range of things that allow
PPE.
businesses to open and stay open.
What we need
That's
is
what
big
the plan was at the
PP.
beginning. And by the way, if you notice in the very beginning, when they passed the stimulus program, the first two pieces, what happened? Businesses were staying open.
Every poo-poo
And then when
time,
they weren't open, they were still able
every
to pay.
poo-poo time is
People
also
able to get
pee-pee
paid.
time. But not every pee-pee time is also poo-poo time, he said.
People are running out of unemployment insurance. What are they going to do? 20 million people are on the verge of losing their home because they can't make a mortgage payments.
Bars.
You have a larger number being kicked out and will be kicked out in the street because they can't pay their rent. And by the way, it's not just the renter, it's the outfit that owns the building. A lot of them aren't multimillionaires, they're running small operations. How can they do it? This is about keeping Americans afloat. Get them through this pandemic. Get them through where their businesses are able to come back.
Positive today, so
The
when they
money's
announce
there.
record-breaking numbers
The money
again,
is
just
there.
know someone in your community is a world record
And also
holder.
on the economic
My
front,
symptoms were
as
mild,
we
so I'm
fight the
okay. Just wear a
pandemic,
mask and please
world
don't
trade
go out
continues,
unless you
and there
have
is
to.
great debate over world trade agreements, international trade agreements. It seems that in the last couple of days, 15 countries, Asian, Pacific countries, have signed onto a new trade deal, the RCEP. Should the United States consider joining that trade agreement?
I've talked with a number of these world leaders, and I told them, under the law, I'm not able to begin to discuss with them. There's only one president at a time as to who can say what our policy will be. So I'm reluctant to answer that question now, but here's what I can say. We make up 25% of the world's trading capacity, of the economy of the world. We need to be aligned with the other democracies, another 25% or more, so that we can set the rules of the road instead of having China and others dictate outcomes because they are the only game in town. And so, but what I'm insisting on, and what I've been asked by world leaders as to what I would do, without getting into detail, I've said, but I want you to know that there are three things that are going to happen if I'm elected. One, we're going to invest in American workers and make them more competitive. Number two, we're going to make sure that labor is at the table and environmentalists are at the table in any trade deals we make. And I'm not looking for punitive trade. The idea that we are poking our finger in the eyes of our friends and embracing autocrats makes no sense to me. And so, but I'm reluctant to get in more detail at this moment. I promise you I have a pretty thorough plan, and I will be prepared to announce that to you on January 21st.
You have indicated changes you want to make in U.S. international policy on other fronts, like the Paris climate.
Yes, that's
deal.
a generic notion of rejoining, but I didn't get into the detail of what we'll do in that agreement. The same thing with rejoining the World Health Organization.
But why not here?
Because you're asking me about whether I join a specific proposal, the details of which are now only being negotiated among those nations.
21 months, yay,
They
so
require
happy for you.
negotiation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. Mr. President-elect, time for one more. Thank you, guys.
Hold on one second. I was sending an email. Okay. So that's President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden, folks. You already know what it is. Will Biden be able to get any of this done without Mitch McConnell? I don't know. Here's a good recap of it. His big economic speech mentioned a big stimulus to the tune of $3 trillion, electric vehicles plus 550,000 new charging stations, modernizing infrastructure, all part of the Build Back Better program. 1.5 million new affordable housing units, paid sick leave, paid family leave, $15 minimum wage, and that he is a union guy and he's going to make it easier to fucking unionize this country. These are all really honorable and really good fucking goals. Now, obviously, the circumstances ahead of all this is the Senate that is going to do gridlock no matter what happens. The amount of political capital that Biden is even willing to expend to further these goals, and also how much pushback is going to happen along the way, especially $15 minimum wage. Like right now, it's just simply a talking point. But just wait until this talking point basically turns into a rallying cry for Republicans and also businesses and ALEC and all these other like Koch brother backed think tanks turn $15 minimum wage basically into a impossible to fucking push measure, and they turn it into socialism. So that will happen. Unionization, that's socialism. Can't have that. Affordable housing units, I mean, that's super socialism. So, you know, that's gonna happen no matter what. So you have to figure out it's not socialism. Yeah, I know it's not socialism, motherfucker. None of this shit is socialism.